invite us to think of the amygdala as the protector, the guardian. So when I think about the roles, I'm going to invite us to think of the amygdala as the protector, the one that is the guardian. And it's always sensing for danger, basically. And then we have the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is many things, but the vagus nerve, which starts like up in your brain stem, like right at the base of the skull, and it comes forward and it lines the front of the throat near the um, kind of the carotid arteries, so big blood vessels here, and it comes down through these arteries, and then it comes down, as some of you already know, it comes down through the throat, through the heart, through the lungs, and then it goes a lot through the digestive system. So it's going through the small intestine, which is responsible for absorption, in particular of absorption of nutrients, micronutrients that play a significant role in our organs' functions, like to function literally as a biological being. And then the large intestine, which absorbs water and brings it through the system, and also down through the elimination pieces of digestion as well. And then finally down in through the pelvic girdle and down into the pubic bone. So it's very deep, it's very long, and the vagus nerve is a messenger, and it sends messages from your entire body to the brain. So we have the amygdala, who's the guardian, we have the vagus, who is the messenger, and we have the prefrontal cortex, which I'm going to invite you to think of as the wise elder. And the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that it's part of executive functioning, so it's responsible for your organization and your planning and your capacity to learn anything new, any habit formation or any new skill. But it's also the one that gives us new perspective and regulation and compassion. So we have the wise elder, we have the messenger of the vagus, and we have the guardian of the amygdala. And they are very much devoted to serve you. They come together to protect and to send signals and to understand what's happening with the environment of your body. But when there's any trauma, and I just want to put that word on the plate for us today, because I find sometimes that word is associated with something's wrong. But really, trauma, according to Dr. Levine, is considered too much energy too soon, too much when it wasn't the right time, we weren't prepared, we didn't have enough tools. So if you think about that, sometimes we are having little traumas throughout our days even. So when our body experiences too much too soon, or chronic stress, or even deep hormonal shifts, then the protector starts to work overdrive. And from there, the vagus nerve begins to send messages and basically too many alarms. And then the wise elder just goes offline and hides. So then there's a part of our brain that really is not available to us. And it's the part of the brain that is responsible for navigating life with important decisions. And it's also the part of our brain that is deeply responsible for intuition and regulating. And it's the wise elder. So when the wise elder goes offline, then we move into survival mode. And this system is beautifully designed for that, so that when we do need to really be available for what is potentially putting us in danger, then we can do that. And I know many of you listening are very versed with the nervous system. So when the vagus nerve is sending these alarm signals, then digestion is pretty much slowly shut down, and it's difficult to absorb nutrients. It's difficult to absorb water where we need to be absorbing water. It's difficult to eliminate what needs to be eliminated. And from there, safety is lost. And when safety is lost, then so is our capacity to connect and to create intimacy with ourselves. And from there, we also lose that capacity with others. And when we are kind of cut off from others and even cut off from ourselves, it puts us at a lot of risk for difficulty navigating on a daily life with decisions that are going to help us unfold our optimal potential, but also just for our own organs and our own health and well-being. There's also just the part of the Sangha, which I mentioned, is your chemistry. And so we have, yeah, even begin to think of the chemistry that we have, like our own communion, like it's these elixirs that play a very big role in our capacity to be connecting and feeling intimacy. So, when we are feeling warmth and safety and trust, then we have the oxytocin, which is the oxytocin that allows us to have a deep attunement. I call it the elixir of attunement, like really being able to tune in and be present on a very deep level. This needs gentleness, it needs softness, it needs warmth in order for it to be triggered. And touch, soft, gentle touch. And then when we have the serotonin, this is also a very important elixir in the blood because the serotonin, this neurotransmitter, it stabilizes mood. So when we don't have the right amounts of serotonin released, then our mood is greatly impacted. And also serotonin plays a very big role in our digestion, the entire digestive process from absorption to elimination and to breaking things down. So, yeah, oxytocin and serotonin are kind of the foundations in our blood chemistry that need to be there in order for us to begin this connection and intimacy with ourselves and with others. And also, we need them in order to begin these practices of really inviting our consciousness to expand. So with that, with these, I really wanted to just kind of bring us into all of the Sangha members that we're inviting today. We want to invite the recognition of them. It's kind of like begin to, I don't know if you've ever heard it, when you talk to plants and you recognize them and see them, they begin to really flourish and really grow, just like with children and just like with animals. And our inner self is the same. It's like, when you begin to acknowledge, I have, yes, amygdala, thank you for being my protector, but you know what? You can come off guard now. And my wise elder, I need you with me at all times. I really need you with me. And the vagus nerve, it's like, there's nothing, no alarm signals. They're just pleasure and everything's okay and I'm safe signals. So because the vagus nerve is like the connector between the body and the brain, today's practice will be a lot about learning how to regulate your system through the vagus.